What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL Season 4, Week 1 of the Rundall Division. This is the third division that I'm going to be going over this week. I'm going to try my hardest to avoid any spoilers for the other divisions, but just keep that in mind in case you like to follow all divisions. Watch the champions first, and then Hindler, and then this one is coming out now. So let's take a look to see who all is in this division. And first, I want to point out something very obvious to some people. There's only 11 teams in this division instead of 12. We did have a player drop out after the draft happened, which means there's only 11 players here, which means that the Rundall division this season is probably going to be different than some of the other divisions. Our schedule is going to be slightly different. There will never be a week where somebody just doesn't play at all unless there are issues with Android 14 and WOTIV and all that kind of stuff, which frankly right now there are issues with. So that being said, let's take a look at the 11 teams that are in this division. So we have Unhindered, coach of Roar the Storm, been with us since Season 1. AllSmokedUp of My Character Romance, been here with us since Season 2, as well as Mr. Aloha and King Delita. No glove, no love for Mr. Aloha, and Fanatical flares for King Delita. Brand new player though, Quistis. Used to be the leader of YUNI.P.S, absolutely phenomenal player, coach of Cosplay Party, and of course my own team, the Los Angeles Ramzas. We have Proto, coach of Succor Punch, and Itomanpr, coach of the 139ers. Manta of the Addison Manta Raes. All three of those players are brand new to the WDL. We have Chisei returning from his first season last season, the Hopeless Heroes, looking to try and make the playoffs again. We have Sweetheart coming back, formerly known as Iceheart last season, coach of Fundamental Forces. So in this video, you can expect, I think, 7-8 battles, somewhere around there. It kind of depends on whether or not I'm able to feature Sweetheart's battle. She would play against Itomanpr if she doesn't have phone issues, but we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. That being said, let's get into the matches, guys, and see who won. All right, guys, kicking off our first game of 8. We have two WDL veterans facing off against each other. We have Unhindered, coach of Roar of the Storm, versus King Delita, coach of Fanatical Flares here. As the full Black Mage comp coming out from King Delita, we have Helena the Black Rose, Y'shtola, and Salir. And it looks like Unhindered is rocking his mascot unit, the new Elda, alongside Agrius and McLeod. So we got some Ice Water composition going on here against Black Mage. Obviously getting a couple of really nice AoE buffs on both sides. Unhindered's Elda has that AP restore going, as it looks like the Little Lilo the Bold team are coming out from Y'shtola, trying to make sure that agility is nice and high on his side. And the Sweetheart Ildira TMR, this is one of my favorite tank TMRs to use in the game, as it does get that unit resist up, and the extra mobility is also really, really nice. Looks like getting that physical health shield also online for the Black Rose. So it looks like she's running that Grimoire Keeper sub job, which is probably a smart option versus it looks like 3 physical units on Unhindered's side. That could make her extra tanky, as the Binding Javelin starting off the fight here. Good chunk of damage onto Y'shtola, who is already channeling a spell. Will she even get a moment to finish this spell, though, as Agrius is going to try and come in with an Ice Chain, lands the Confusion, which means whatever spell that was about to be is not going to happen. Salir is coming in, though. I imagine this is probably a Bolt Surge. Could be a Flare as well, but I think it's Bolt Surge. Not sure if she has the range on Flare. Rose Blast actually not doing a whole lot to the Agrius, and I was mistaken. It's actually a Thundergut, but the Binding Javelin from Unhindered's Elda will knock out Y'shtola. It is now a 3v2 in his favor, as another Binding Javelin comes down. About half of Salir's health bar is gone, but the Wizard Staff CT up, make sure that she is going to go before Agrius. This could actually be pretty huge, unless Agrius can kill her here, which I don't expect. North Swain's Strike Destruction, 700 on the counter from Salir's Bolt Surge comes through again, knocking out the McLeod. That is pretty massive for King Delita here. It is a 2v2 with 2 low health bars and a couple of OP units still on the board. Agrius is going to drop, though. Salir, what is her casting time like? Does she get damage off before Elda can hit? It's not looking like she's going to be able to. Another Binding Javelin. 3rd or 4th time I've said those words in this fight here. And now mano y mano, Helena versus Elda, 2 of the newest units in the game. We come for the WDL for a lot of the underused units, but this fight, the underused units are now dead, so it's now the 2 OPs versus each other. Lion's Drain going to heal himself up nicely. That hidden resistance, though, the reaction block, or the reaction skill coming out and giving her some extra AoE resistance, that could be a big deal here. As Rose Fulmination comes through, 5,300 damage, dropping that magic attack resist as well. And the massive heal back could be the difference in this fight. Helena, in my opinion, might be the strongest unit in the game, and she's showing it right here. But Elta says, hey, I have a limit break as well. This is going to have to be massive to have him have a chance here. How much damage is it going to be? 5.5k here. Then Fall We Shall all comes through as well. Accuracy up. I don't think it's going to matter, though. I imagine she probably has the damage to finish this off. Maddening Verse comes through 5,400. It is enough to take him out, but he does have to re-raise. The problem is I think she still has re-raise as well. 87 AP on the Elda, though, so he has enough. Crossbreak just barely doesn't take her out. I honestly think if that reaction didn't happen to give her extra AoE resist, she might have dropped there, but I don't think it would have mattered. I think the re-raise would have brought her back to life, and she would have taken him out anyway, but wow. First fight of the Rundall division, absolutely down to the wire. Crazy fight, and congratulations to King Delita and the Fanatical Flares for picking up their first win on the season. Next up to bat, we have my team, the Los Angeles Ramzas versus the 139ers. Rams and 49ers are rivals in the NFL. We'll see if we can get just as good of a fight going on here as the Hatred Reborn comes out from my Viga, who is alongside Winter Raes and Schutzelt. And it looks like Sadali is going to get a buff online alongside Raes, and it looks like Balo off onto this side. So a little bit of musical chairs going on here with the elements, as two of my lightning units are weak to Balo, but obviously good against Raes. Winter Ravi should theoretically be a good against Sadali as well. My team going to get that Keen Blade on, a couple of AoE buffs, Courage Online for Winter Ravi's, Courage Online for Viga, and that is going to be the name of the game for my team, as Courage is online for Schutzeld as well. So my entire team at this moment has Courage Online. That was kind of my strategy going into this, thinking that he doesn't have much Courage removal on his team. And excuse me, she hadn't used her Courage yet. Now she has. And speaking of Courage, looks like Itoman's got a little bit as long his side too, as Balo's going to pop Immortal Spirit. And Sadali says, I want to join this Courage party. Just kidding, it's re-raise. But everybody on the map, every single one of them has a don't die skill going on here. So it should be interesting. Raes is going to get that Protect, which is going to be good against all three physical units as Grudge Bearer comes in. 5,100 damage. She honestly tanked that pretty well. The Protect coming in clutch, but Pressure Hazard says no more. She is going to drop. She's going to respawn with the re-raise, so that Immortal Dogma is looking pretty huge here. Can Winter Ravi's clean her up? No, she cannot. She is going to hit the Balo on the side, who has the hate. She's going to come in with her massive snowball, though. Should land a Frostbite and 6,000 damage, depleting 19 AP, because note, my limit break was level 19 during this fight, not level 20. But who cares? At this point, Balo is going to suffer from that AP reduction, as Sadali is going to pop a Team R to get haste online. Counterman Slash comes through. Honestly, pretty damn good damage from the Raes. I almost said Ravi's onto my two lightning units, as Balo is just going to go for a Saintly Healing. He is out of AP to get anything done right now. Grudge Bear tanked very well, though. I think this Balo is stacking a good amount of lightning resist. Schutzelt is going to walk up, chop Raes in half. And I think the big thing in this fight at this moment is that Frostbite, nullifying any sort of AP Balo would have had, he couldn't cast a Taunting Blade to gather more hate. Schutzelt get knocked down to his Courage, but he's going to heal way back up. Ravi's is going to slice Balo in half and remove that Courage. But Balo is maybe dead. Super Balo is now alive. He had 0 AP, but he just recovered 41 of it. Got a bunch of stats, and let's see what he can do against these two lightning units. Trinity Burst comes through, 6,100 damage for an SR unit. That is pretty impressive stuff. Let's see what Viga can come through with. Again, only 1,600 damage. Those lightning units not being able to do much damage to this Balo. Indoctrination comes through. It's going to end Schutzhelt's life, and in a fight what looked pretty damn one-sided for me, is now all of a sudden not very one-sided. Winter Ravi's is cutting through this Balo, though, which kind of confirms the theory that this guy has a good amount of lightning resist, as she's doing a lot more damage than Viga is. Rush Not Thy Fate comes through for Sadali, dropping that agility, and the CT can be pretty massive. Paralyzing Axe from Viga. Viga does just a little bit of damage and does not land the paralysis. So this is an interesting fight, as both of my units are kind of splitting up damage. Winter Ravi's going for the Balo, Viga going for the Sadali. And now they seem to be targeting my Viga on the other side. 2v2. Who's going to take it? Rush Not Thy Fate, a good amount of damage, 6,000. And take a look at the action count, guys. Only 14 rounds remaining as the Esper comes through for Viga. Going to get that party effect online, but the counter cure for Sadali is huge. He heals back 4,000 damage, or 4,000 health, rather. As Ravi's will get rid of the Balo, 11 actions left. And there is still a re-raise on Sadali's side, a Courage and a re-raise on Viga's side. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. So Viga's going to walk up, get the standard attack to try and gain some AP. Winter Raes, only 4 AP, also just has to standard attack, and a second counter cure comes through for Sadali. Sadali is trying to win on turns, trying to keep that health bar up. Unavailable Pain will take out the Viga. We're now with 6 actions left after this. Viga, can you kill this guy? Can you take him out? 18 AP, Paralyzing Axe lands the paralysis with only 5 turns. Now 4 turns remaining. Winter Ravi is going to kill him, but that means the paralysis is now gone. And Viga is now basically very vulnerable here with his re-raise gone. Sadali is going to cast a spell. How much damage can he do with the AoE? He's going to summon an Esper. Mega Flare coming through from the skies. Bahamut, can he kill Viga and do enough damage to Ravis to win this fight on turns or on health bar? We're going to have to find out here as Bahamut is coming through. Absolutely epic animation. Comes from the skies, drops the Viga, a little bit of chip damage onto the Winter Ravis as look at the action counts left. 2 turns left. He has 2,000 health at this moment. He needs to deal enough damage to Ravis. Was it enough? It is not, and I end up barely winning the fight on turns, guys. My Ravis had 2282 health, and Sadali had 2000, so I ended up winning this by 200 health. It was an absolutely amazing fight. Huge shout out to Itomanpr, great player, great person. I had an absolutely amazing time chatting with him, and overall, just a great game. All right, guys, due to a little bit of weird scheduling, this is actually the last fight that we have on this map before we head to Bamboo Grove. But it looks like Chisei and the Hopeless Heroes are running Bartz, Uni, and Montleonis together, and Manta is running Skahal, Mish, and Renoa. So very interesting. Skahal going to get that zombie TMR online right away to try and make sure that he is unkillable. Momentum on the Mish will give him some extra speed that he very much needs, and it looks like Time Accelerant going to hit him as well. I do wonder if this was the plan by Manta or if this was a mistake trying to haste the Skahal instead, but curious to see here as the massive limit break comes out from Montleonis. Special shout out to Montleonis, the only MR unit in the game to have a limit break, and it has gotten much better. Basically, if he gets low on health, he gets a massive heal back, he gets extra CT, and my god, as I'm talking, Uni hits, and the follow-up just absolutely murders the Mish. It is now a 3v2 in Chisei's favor here. 18 AP on Mont's side, Taunting Blade going to come through, gather some hate. It does crucially drop Skahal below that 70% threshold, which could be pretty massive here. Power Stance going to come in from the Bart, so he cannot do any damage by himself. As Twin Strike comes in from the Renoa, 3,600 damage. This tank is honestly doing a pretty damn good job with the elemental advantage. How well does he do against the Skahal? Not very well, though, as Skahal packs a punch. 6,500 damage. Another Twin Strike comes in, and Mont crucially does not have courage, which means he never got that heal back from his limit break. Arrowfall, though, comes through from Uni. Is he close enough for the follow-up? Yes, he is. The follow-up is going to take out Skahal. The follow-up takes out Renoa, and now it is a zombie Skahal versus the world, and this is going to be really rough for Manta here, I think. Bartz is not in range to deal damage, though. Hold on a minute, guys. If Skahal can take out Bartz here with the Thundergust, 7,200 damage, he might just have a chance. Can he close the gap on this Uni? If he can reach, he easily one-shots Uni here. Uni's going to go for the attack, though, first. Punishing Slow Arrow is barely just enough to take out the Skahal. I don't think Skahal was in range to deal damage there. I'm assuming he was probably casting either, like, Haste or his Movement spell. But either way, Skahal needed one hit to close that game. That ended up being an absolutely crazy one. Shout out to both players there, and congratulations to Chisei on the win. Heading over to the next map, we are now on the Bamboo Grove 2 map, and it looks like AllSmokedUp on the left side with my character Romance versus Proto, brand new player, coach of Sucker Punch. And it looks like an Ice Water comp coming up from Proto with Jaden the Celebrated, Glaciella Wazette, and Valade. A couple of really nice AoE buffs going on online as Jaden has a massive physical health shield here as Pinion of Steel comes out from the Stern Wing of Destiny. So a couple of sword units as well as Curry from the back to try and land some of those frostbites could be pretty important, but Valade with his massive AoE buffs going to get Protect online for the entire party, and that is going to be very useful against a triple physical team. Curry, though, might be getting a little out of position here. Hits the Frostmon Barrage, but the Frostbite does not land on Glaciella. I expect Proto must have at least some resistance going on here, and he does have the AP Restore on Jade, and this is his biggest hurdle to try and get through as the Stunning Thrust lands a double stun. Proto is in prime position here in this fight, landing a double stun, and Jaden has tons of AP. This could be over before it starts here. Delita is going to walk up, start channeling a spell, gonna go with the Bar Blizzara. And to make matters worse, getting a little bit of extra ice resistance as well. If Curry wasn't already not doing a ton, he's going to do even less in this moment. Magellant's Rain comes out. Honestly, tanked pretty well, though, I will say, from the Ravies and the Stern Wing of Destiny. Blinding Cross comes through. Again, crucially, the blind only hitting Valade. The status resistances seem to be on point for Proto here. As Valkyrie Drive's going to come through. Brand new Limit Break upgrade for Glaciella. Not much damage onto the Ravies, but does give her some nice AP auto restore. Removed Courage as well. Very, very nice to see as Infinite Light comes out from Stern. He's going to hit that Limit Break, try and give himself some haste. Make himself nice and speedy. Valade is going to drop, which could be pretty huge here. If he can lap due to the haste, unfortunately, it looks like he is not going to. Sharpshoot from the Curry lands barely any damage at all. And I think he definitely wanted to try and see a Frostbite there, but Lifebane Lance doing a ton of damage. Stripping the re-raise as well is really huge, and it looks like Jaden the Celebrated has a beautiful matchup here into Stern. Glaciella's going to hit him with a Surge Strike, and now it is 2 units versus Ravies. She's a good tank, but this is a huge ask. She's going to hit with that Blade Bash. Obviously, the barrier gone for Jaden is pretty big here, but gonna go with the Dance of the Stag King. I expect this to do a good amount of damage as it does drop Pierce resistance. And it is going to hit for 5,800. The tank already has the Courage gone due to the Glacial Limit Break, so this should be all she wrote. Just going to poke her in the face with her spear here. And Proto, in his very first match in the WDL, picks up the win. Huge congratulations to him, and GG to both players. Second match of the day for Unhindered and Roar of the Storm, but first match for No Glove, No Love. Mr. Aloha is the coach of this team, with blink of an eye coming out right away for King Bradley. Try and get that preemptivity counter online, as it looks like a brand new strategy coming out from Unhindered. Much different than his first game. Still has Agrius as a tank, as she gets her own TMR used here, but the double glove unit, double damage dealer, could be interesting here. Kefka is going to get that re-raise online, and both are going to start trying to move towards the fight. Boon of the Lion coming out from Howlet, though. And I love to see this team from Mr. Aloha. It is the full Knight team, full Sword Knight, which means they have tons of Vision Card synergy. This team could be very, very scary throughout the season, as it looks like Bradley's going to have his Courage up and sitting with a very healthy amount of HP, almost 12,000. I think this Bradley is either max reincarnated or probably very close, which means this guy is going to be very, very terrifying. Kefka, what is he going to have in store here? Spell Focus Rune coming out. Very interesting to see. I think that is the new Helen in TMR, but I'm not certain. Jamming Thrust coming out from the Howlet. 3,300 damage, not too bad. Also going to give himself a nice little Spirit buff. Obviously, Nasha basically doing 0 damage to this Kefka, but she does have the hate. And what is more, the Mirror going to find? This is a Limit Break. If this silences Howlet, this could be very big for Unhindered. Does it land here? And it only lands on the Nasha. It looks like Mr. Aloha prepping for the silence on Howlet here. He either has some innate resistance. I think he might have calculated. Rend just destroys Kefka. He will be coming back after the re-raise, though, with his CT up. He's going to have to find a massive Limit Break here. I think he needs to land a Confusion on multiple members. He's not going to go for it. He's going to go for Light of Judgment Plus, which is decent damage, but I don't think it's enough. I'm checking out the turn order. Hazard Slash coming out from the Howlet. Nasha is going to go next. Does she have enough damage to land a kill? She does. She finds a kill on More the Merrier, who now loses her re-raise. And More the Merrier, what can she get done? She needs to do something very, very quickly here to have a chance. She's just going to standard attack the tank. She gets the kill, but that's not the kill they need. Agri's is going to go next. Can she land any sort of statuses? She can land Death. That is the best status effect you can land, but you know who else can cast Death is King Bradley on, it looks like, all 3 members. Man, oh man, this guy is an absolute monster. Mr. Aloha coming to play this season. Massive win for him. Congratulations to him. Well played by both players, though. Very, very good game. My second match of the day is against none other than Quistis, who is an absolutely stellar WOTF player. This is his first battle in the WDL. I'm bringing a team of what I thought might compete against Halloween Lucio, He did not bring Halloween Lucio, so this is going to be an interesting fight. So my Winter Ravi's popping a physical shield, which unfortunately is not going to do much versus this full staff devout team coming out from Quistis, which is very, very cool. Golbez, Renan, and Resnick, you have to respect it. Axeman's Ward coming through again for the Grifford, another physical barrier that won't do a whole lot for him here. But that being said, the early turn rotation is still pretty decent on my side, as it looks like Murray is going to stack up for a full Hastiga, and the Umbral Calling from Golbez going to hit the entire enemy team as well. So both of the early buff rotations are online and good to go. Starry Veil coming through from the Resnick as well. A smart tech to try and nullify Berserk in case my Vega came through. So very, very well played by Quistis, as the Courage is now online for Winter Ravis. Renan can dispel Courage, but he's the only one on this team, so you have to stay away from that. Renan's starting to cast a spell, though, trying to join the fight here, as Enduring Formation comes out from Grifford. Will help a little bit with that elemental chain resistance, but Golbez, basically the only mage in the game who can cast Keenblade, coming out with a very timely one here as Resnick. What is she going to go for? She's going to start channeling a spell of her own, and I go with the Preventative Medicine. Probably could have turned this off, but I saw a huge magic stat, thought Vivi might be here to nullify the stun. That being said, Renan nukes the hell out of my Winter Ravis, and here he comes again with a Sky-Splitting Thunder Strike. That Keen Blade, just too much for me, too much speed, removing Ravis and removing her Courage off the face of the planet. And Golbez says, I want in on the action as well. Void Meteor coming in with the massive limit break. How much damage is it going to do to the Grifford? Quite a bit. 72-21. Grifford, you need to make a play here to try and turn this fight in your favor. Hammer of the War Master coming out. This is going to drop that AoE resistance, but I believe both units have a barrier online. I know that Renan does, and man, oh man, they soak that damage very, very well. Resnick going to turn up here. What is she going to go for? She's going to start channeling a spell here. It's going to be Teachings of the Strongbolt, so adding more unit attack resist to make this Renan even tankier here. Lemire should be going for a Curaga here. Does she get it off in time? Yes, she does. So a nice amount of healing here coming through. Grifford should be able to live another hit from Renan, but he's going to have to put in a lot of work here with Resnick in the back doing a bunch of healing. Renan's going to come with his Limit Break. How much damage is it going to do? Quite a bit. Almost one-shots my Grifford. The Wizard Staff going to give some CT up on Lemire, though. Sleep Reaver needs to hit the sleep. It does not. And to make matters worse for myself, Renan gets the counter cure, which is just brutal to see on my end. The sleep needed to land, I think, to give me a chance here, as Golbez is going to come in and clean up Grifford. He is going to drop. And man, oh man, Resnick coming in should be able to top off Golbez with a Limit Break of her own. Just kidding, it's a Law of Invigoration, but that is 3 perfectly healthy health bars on Quistis' side, and it is just a matter of time here. Renan's going to close the gap, start channeling another Thunderbolt, almost takes out Lemire, but he says, hey, Golbez, why don't you go ahead and finish this one for me? Black Fang comes through, and a massive win for Quistis in his debut in the WDL. Calls my bluff perfectly. I brought a team on what I thought had a chance against the Halloween Lucio. I did not see Halloween Lucio, so very well done by him. Congratulations, and GG. This next fight is going to be between Sweetheart, coach of Fundamental Forces, and Itomanpr, coach of 139ers. Shout out to Sweetheart. Was having issues with her phone all week, but borrowed a phone from somebody else to make sure this match got done on time, so huge shout out to her. Now let's see who ended up winning this one. So the Fundamental Forces running a soul-based team. He is 140 in our format, so he is the hyper carry alongside a couple of low-cost units in Lisette and Lorela. So very interesting to see here as the Veil of the Truth comes out. Big old AoE buff that also gives him a nice physical shield here. And speaking of physical shields, it looks like the Halloween Lucio on the side of Itomanpr is going to use hers as well. I will say, these physical health shields are not going to do much on either side, although it will have at least some effect on Itomanpr's side. I take that back. Soul will get through it, but the other two will not. Guardian is going to buff and walk forward. Lorela, what is she going to do? She's taking her sweet time. I promise this is not on manual, but whoever's borrowed phone might just be taking a little longer than normal. Fierce Barrage comes through. Not a whole lot of damage, but the nice thing, if you notice, it does give her 20 AP back. A skill that basically just allows her to use more and more abilities. Very cool to see here as Lisette should be walking forward after she gets this buff done. So it looks like 3 movement, pretty standard here. And Marguerite in the back. What is she geared to do? It looks like Quicken. So not going for any sort of haste here. It's just Quicken. Zombie TMR coming out from the Halloween Lucia, though. And she is dangerous. She is a threat. And I will say, I think this is a smart team coming out from Itoman to try and beat this Soul team. He is very tanky versus physical, but double magic units could be a problem. But what else is a problem is a hasted up Soul. Lorela going to go next. She's going to start channeling a spell, maybe a Mega Charge. And I'm not sure what else she would be channeling here. This should be another Quicken from Marguerite. And Gargus is going to start channeling. This could be a massive hit. If this is a Windlash, this could nuke the enemy team. Basically, all 3 are stacked up for this. Halloween Lucio going to approach as well. She's actually going to go for the Limit Break, though, not any sort of AoE, which I think is good for Sweetheart here, because I don't think this is on Soul, your main carry. 4,600 damage to the follow-up kill. Lorela, yes, it does. So now down to a 3v2 here. Lisette might be able to get out of the way of whatever AoE this is, though. She's going to go before Gargus finishes his cast. What can she get done here? She needs to do a decent amount. She actually goes for the Bio Blade on Halloween Lucia because of her massive physical health shield. She goes for the magic attack, but that is so much damage coming out from Gargus. But Soul is one of those units who can do this. He's going to heal himself up, give himself some CT up and hate down, and because of that haste, he is going to lap. How much can he get done on this turn? He needs to get a lot done to have a chance here. Can he find a kill or maybe even a double kill here? Gargus has fantastic AoE res, but if he can go a double target single unit attack resist attack, you guys know what I'm talking about. It can do a lot. Finds the healing on Lisette, but she was already full health. So decent amount of damage onto Marguerite and Gargus, but does not one-shot. Can Gargus and whatever this is, Wildstar Incantation, oh my god. Marguerite just absolutely destroys the Soul, 11,000 damage. That was impressive to see. Holy shit, Marguerite eating her Wheaties this week, and Itomanpr apparently pissed off about the loss to me, is trying to make a statement in this fight here. As Gargus is coming out with the flare, he says, I don't need to win on turns like you, KSaun. I'm going to just go ahead and win 3-0 here. Holy cow, that Marguerite just went absolutely nuts. Sweetheart, who is an absolutely amazing player. Honestly, I think if Marguerite died from that Soul attack, this could have been a very different fight. But it was just like, honestly, a great call by Itomanpr to bring Halloween Lucia. And the positioning worked out such perfectly that that massive physical health shield forced Lisette to basically go for Bioblade, which is not really going to do any damage because it technically does 700, whereas even if she did 4,000 from a physical attack, the game's going to register it as less damage. So very well done by him. A really interesting comp, and GG's to both players. All right, guys, the final match of this week is the Hopeless Heroes versus the Fanatical Flares. And because of scheduling, not every team plays twice this week. So these are the 2 teams who have the opportunity to start the season off 2-0. Both King Delita and Chisei won their first game. Who will end up being 2-0 after this one? As King Delita and Chisei looks like bringing out completely different teams from their first battle here. As Momentum on the side of Sephiroth for King Delita, running a full Dark and Light comp. I'm sure taking advantage of that Dark Bahamut VC, but it looks like Chisei is running a very interesting composition as well with a couple of Dark units himself. The Haste TMR on the original Black-Robed Witch Helena, and both units, it looks like preparing very similarly. Aurora of Blessings on the side of King Delita as Sephiroth is going to catch a Quicken. Can he approach and get damage done? He's going to go with the Veil of Woe first. I think this is actually better for King Delita anyway, getting that barrier online. As the silencing spell comes through, silence is the Elshra, and that is pretty massive. She is not going to be able to, I believe, cast any sort of like quicken or any damage, I don't believe. As it looks like Shells is going to get that nice AoE buff off. What kind of damage can Helena land? Devastation. This is a barrier break. And also, it is apparently an Elshra life break, as she apparently just completely disappears. But who else can do a lot of damage? It's Sephiroth coming with an Octaslash limit break. How much does this do? Wow, basically nothing. I am pretty sure that is probably just a ton of AoE and dark resistance on Chisei's side. He very much predicting this team. Wow, this is now getting very, very scary for King Delita here, as Black Rose Helen is going to start channeling another spell. Kurata hits, but for only 2880, as Little Leela nerfed the healing power, and it looks like Chisei is just hard countering this team. basically predicted it perfectly. Shelza is in the back to support again. Sephiroth, what can he get done here? Hell's Gate is hitting for 500 damage on this Helena. You thought this unit was back in the second year of the game. No, she's still going ham nowadays. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Shadow Flare comes through. It's going to drop the AoE resist, also going to drop Sephiroth, and this is going to be all she wrote. I do believe Grace has full life, but she's going to need like 10 more casts of that, I think, as Chisei's health bars are basically just regenning as fast as they are taking damage. This team is very scary from Chisei. Holy cow. Tenable Rose going to come out. It's going to just destroy the Grace. And for what I thought was going to be a close or interesting fight, that did not go at all how I thought. Chisei called this team perfectly. I'm assuming that he probably running, you know, the Dark Ring on Little Leela. I know Black Rose Helena has, or Black Robed Witch Helena, I have to now clarify, has a lot of AoE resist when she's high on health. So between that and shells and dark resist buffs, like, yeah, that damage mitigation was just absolutely nuts. So shout out to both players. Both are amazing players, but congratulations and very well played to Chisei. All right, everybody, with all the matches in the books, I do apologize. You're not going to see my face here. I am re-recording this screen as I originally recorded this without Sweetheart's battle in it, and decided I wanted to re-record it because we did get this fight between Sweetheart and Itomanpr in before the end of the week, so I wanted to have the fully updated standings for Rundall and basically go over this with you guys. So let's take a look at the Rundall division, or Rundall League rather, after 2 weeks. So Chisei is the only team that started the season off 2-0. There are 3 other teams who are undefeated but only have played 1 game so far. So Chisei in first right now with the Hopeless Heroes. We have Mr. Aloha of No Glove, No Love, Quistis of Cosplay Party, and Proto of Sucker Punch. A couple of brand new players in the league starting off hot with that 1-0 start. And then we have 3 teams as well between myself, coach of the Los Angeles Ramzas, King Delita, coach of Fanatical Flares, and Itomanpr, coach of the 139ers, who all started their first week out 1-1. 3 more teams here tied for 8th place. We have AllSmokedUp of My Character Romance, Manta of the Addison Manta Raes, Sweetheart of Fundamental Forces, all starting out 0-1 on the season, and unfortunately for Unhindered, the only team to start out 0-2, but I know he will come back swinging for the rest of the season. So that is how things shake out after the first week, guys. With Rundall, it's going to be a little different than other divisions. It'll be mostly the same throughout the season, but for a lot of the weeks, we will have slightly less battles or slightly more battles than the other divisions. So you'll just have to bear with me. The schedule will be a little different, but obviously with 11 players, we have to try and make things work. I basically set the schedule up so that no player will ever have a complete bye where they don't play a single battle during a week. That was important to me because I wanted basically everybody to feel included in every single video. So even though there will be some videos where some people play 2 and some people play 1, someone will always play every single week, and by the end of it, we'll all have played the same amount of battles once against everybody else. So Rundall division, everybody in here will play 10 battles over the course of the season, where the other ones play 11, but that's just how it goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look forward to the Wazette video tomorrow as well, and we'll see you guys in that one. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day.